It is Thursday, August 31st, 2023. This is another edition of Baseball Today. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan along for the ride as well on this final day of August. We have two tips of the cap, so I'll let you go first.
Oh, I forgot I sent that to you yesterday. I got to get his name in.
Wasn't it like Joe?
I believe it is Joe. I texted you guys late last night. Yes, Joe at Dodgers Concessions came up and said, hey, I listen to Baseball Today every single day. And I said, bro, that's awesome. Thank you for the support. I'm going to give you a shout out. So here's me shouting out Joe. I had excellent time. Saw a bunch of guys and gals yesterday that came up to me and said, hey, we listened to the show. So good to see you, Coach Trev. And I said, what's up?
That's very, very sweet.
It is
very
awesome.
nice.
So I make sure, I wanted to shout him out. So I'm glad that you reminded me.
We don't take that lightly. You have a lot of choices out there, so thank you for making us part of your day. Also a tip of the cap baseball-wise to Darius Vines. Another guy this year who made his major league debut for the Atlanta Braves. 6 solid in their win out of in Colorado. But the thing that really got me was the mid-game interview with Mama.
And when he was about 5 years old, he was like, Mom, I want to be a professional baseball player. And today, we're here watching him. But I am so proud of him. He is doing a great job tonight. Great.
I mean, you need some tissues after that one? Holy smokes.
You didn't need to do that to me early in the morning, dude. No, I love it. There's, once you become a parent, you realize like you love something more than you love yourself, and to be able to see your child succeed and fulfill a dream. I can't even imagine. I tear up when Teddy gets a hit
right
in his Pinto games. Like, it's emotional. I'd be a wreck if I got to see him play big league baseball.
Yeah. And I loved it. She wasn't fighting back the tears. She just let it go, which is exactly the way you should be. It is a special time. It is a commitment. You hear it from so many athletes about it's not just about them. The whole journey's about their entire support system. So when
100%,
when you reach the top of that mountain, you're doing it together. There's not just one pair of hands and a set of feet. It's a whole group. And so I'm so happy that the entire Vines family got to enjoy that. That was really cool. Speaking of the Braves, they hopped on a bird last night from Denver to L.A. to get ready for the most anticipated series of the year. First of a 4-game set out in Chavez Ravine tonight. It's going to be awesome. Dodgers and Braves only separated by 4 games for that top spot in the National League. So you got 2 great teams. You got 4 legit MVP candidates. You've got 2 of the last 3 World Series champions. What are you most looking forward to in this matchup?
It's such a great matchup between 2 like incredible organizations. Like I mentioned, I went to the Dodger game last night, saw them in person. I was like, is this like kind of like their B lineup? They had, Will Smith wasn't in it. And so, of course, Austin Barnes, I think, had 2 knocks. Right. They scored 7 runs. Like I was like, okay, they can do whatever they want to do. But to me, with Atlanta coming in, you mentioned there's a bunch of great things to look at. But when I saw the pitching matchups, they're hilarious. And like not hilarious, but they're so intriguing to me. And it's funny how they lined up. I mean, Spencer Strider versus Lance Lynn, just 2 guys who are moxie kings out there trying to kill everybody on the mound. The next day, you have the lefties going up against each other, Max Fried and Julio Urias. Like that's a great matchup. Then I have Bryce Elder versus TBA. Fine, the Dodgers will figure something out there. And then I think this is my favorite one of all because it is a 4-game set, like you mentioned. Charlie Morton, twirling it up there. Old man Charlie Morton going up against young gun Bobby Miller. Like that is such an awesome pitching matchup. So to me, there's so many good things to look at, but the way this lined up is awesome. So I can't wait to watch this series.
For me, I think a lot of people are saying, okay, well, maybe this is the weekend that the MVP is determined between Acuna and Betts. A, I don't think that's accurate. B, I'm more intrigued by the first base matchup. The guys that right now, in my opinion, would be 3 and 4. And I know that Freddie Freeman could certainly hop into 1 or 2 if he becomes the first guy in 1 billion years to get 70 doubles in a season or something like that. I think he's only the third player to get 50 doubles before the month of September. So, but I think that it's fun because you look at what Atlanta has now had and will have for 20 years at first base. It's a little bit like the Green Bay Packers quarterback situation where they went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. Like, it's that good because Freddie Freeman, 12 years in Atlanta, an OPS of 893 while he was there. He averaged 55 extra base hits a season. Matt Olson, not quite through 2 years there, an 879 OPS so far. He's going to average over 75 extra base hits a season. I mean, the dude's going to hit 50 homers this year, and he's a doubles machine as well. So it could come down to that. And when they played a best-of-3 set in Atlanta this year, LA won 2 of those 3. Freddie Freeman was really good in the series, went 5 of 13 with a homer. Matt Olson's lone hit in 12 at-bats left the yard as well. So I think it could be the battle of first baseman again.
I mean, that's a great one. And thinking about those two going back to back in Atlanta, that's a special run there. There's so many things. Like you mentioned, they took 2 out of 3. Now it was a 4-game set. So this could determine the tiebreaker if they end up tied at the end of the year for best record, which means home field advantage, which means a lot of things. So this is an incredible series for us. We're blessed.
Enjoy it. Yeah, enjoy it. I think it's great. Does it mean the world at the end of the day? Listen, if one team wins all 4 games, then I think it's a statement. Heck, even 3-1. But if we go 2-2, all I can tell you is this. Like, Brady made a great point the other day when he and I were just shooting the shit. He's like, man, that would be a great NLCS. We don't have a rooting interest. We don't care. But it would just be really good, again, I think, to see that. Fun.
Charlie Morton versus Bobby Miller is just something I gotta see it Sunday. Here we go.
All right, let's move on to a guy we talked a little bit about on yesterday's show. It was in a losing effort, but Bryce Harper reached a milestone.
And a high fly ball to deep right center field. Could he have done it? Renfro's going back toward the wall. It's gone! It's number 300! Oh, my God. It has given the Phillies the lead.
I love being a Philly. I mean, plain and simple. It's something I dreamed about, just really, this fan base, this city, I love them. I really do, plain and simple.
Some critics have said that Bryce Harper needs to win a title in order to truly make it in Philadelphia. Do you agree with that?
I think there's some validity to that statement. To truly make it in Philadelphia, I mean, I think winning a title is huge in that. Like, if you're talking Bryce Harper, statue guy outside of Citizens Bank Park, like, he might not. Bryce Harper is the one guy who might not need to win the title. He signed up for 13 years there. He said, bury me in, I hope I die in a Phillies jersey, in an article that was written a couple weeks ago. This is after, he was praising them for what they did for Trey Turner, talking about what they did for Alec Boehm the year before. Like, this guy clearly loves playing in Philadelphia. He's buying into it. And it doesn't seem fake. Like, I really do feel like he loves it there and he's connecting with the city. So 13 years there, putting up the numbers that he's going to put up. He's going to hit 500. He's going to hit his 500th home run in a Phillies jersey. He's going to do all these things that get him into the Hall of Fame in a Phillies jersey. That might be enough already, just the length of his contract and the type of guy he is. And what fan bases really like is when a guy actually buys into the city and really means it. Like, if he sticks around in the off season, if he's, within the community doing things, if he's really buying in. I mean, I don't want to put myself in the same level as Bryce Harper, so I'm not trying to do that. But that's one of the reasons I still can go back to Minneapolis, and, people recognize me because I love Minnesota. And I traversed through Twins territory in a Sprinter van for many years, going to all the small towns and really, I love Minnesota. I think it shows when I talk baseball for them that I do care about the state and Twins territory. I feel like Bryce is the same way. So I think he's already going to be a Phillies legend because of the way he talks about Philly and the things that he will accomplish in a Phillies jersey, even if he doesn't win the World Series. But if he does win a World Series, it's automatic statue, Philly legend forever. So I don't really know if I answered your question, Chris.
Yeah. Well, you started by saying that there was some validity to the statement that he does need to. And I was just curious about that side of things because there aren't a lot of people that do have statues in Philly. I know that one of them is Nick Foles. Okay. Nick Foles has a statue with Doug Peterson because they brought the first Super Bowl to Philadelphia.
He really have a statue, Nick Foles?
There is a statue of them before the Philly special. Remember the play that they ran against the Patriots where they threw it to him? Okay.
Of course.
There is a statue of the two of them on the sidelines talking it over. So, but they don't get that if they end up on the wrong side of that score.
100%.
And here's the thing. The cynic, I think, would say, man, why is Bryce Harper just speaking glowingly? Is it because when he does struggle or if they don't win it all over the next several years, that Philly fan will take it easier on him because they're going to remember all the wonderful things he said? Or is it truly like this is the way his heart feels?
Well, look, where did he come from? He came from Washington. Now, I'm not banging on Washington's fan base, but it doesn't have the history necessarily that Philly has. And those are two different fan bases. I've been on here talking about how it's difficult to play in Philadelphia, and it surely is. I don't think that was a wrong statement by me. But with those, with the hardships and the passion the fans will show comes, the other side of it. Like if they love you, and they can really resurrect somebody. And we've seen that from time to time over the last couple of years. So I think he's being truthful. I think he just enjoys the passion of the city because look at how he plays the game, dude. Like, this is what fans want. They want you to be engaged in the city. They want you to talk glowingly about, they want you to love it there. They do. And so he does that. And then they also just want effort. And if there's anyone in the baseball world that gives you effort, it's Bryce Harper.
How often do we hear, let's say a team wins a big playoff series in whatever sport it is, and they're over the PA system in front of all the fans. You guys are the best fans in the world. You're the best fans in the world. And I watch that. I'm like, really? They're not the fucking best fans in the world. They're just not. They're not. I know it. They know it sitting there, and you definitely know it in front of the microphone. So, but when Bryce Harper says that there is a special connection here, I do hope that if Philadelphia does not win one in the next 5 years, that this relationship doesn't go south because it's one I really enjoy. And I do feel like I think the word that you said was genuine. And yeah, in my opinion, he doesn't need to justify his 13-year, $330 million contract to win a ring because we both know how freaking hard it is. How freaking hard it is to win it all in this sport in particular. It feels so random at times when we get to October.
Give me a Trey Turner with Bryce Harper, like on deck, like arm around each other before Bryce walks off the World Series or something like that. Give me that statue.
Yeah, that'd be great. That would be great.
I did pick the Phillies to win the World Series this year. Now, it was against the Yankees, and they stink, but...
Yeah, well, that's all right. You know, it doesn't stink. The fact that today's show is brought to you by Manscaped. Public service announcement to everybody out there. If you didn't already know, Manscaped now sells beard products. Oh, that's a big deal for the two of us. The leaders in below-the-waist grooming changed the game with their Beard Hedger Pro Kit. Now they've gone a step further with their brand-new Handyman, an electric face shaver for quick and convenient way to achieve a clean-shaven look. So whether you're looking to sharpen up your neckline or give your face that smooth finish, the Handyman has got you covered. And if you're like the two of us, you know clean shaving, that can become a hassle. Well, the Handyman is the perfect compact tool. You can take it on the go wherever you need to take your travels to. You achieve a clean-shaven look without all of the nasty effort that comes with it. On top of that, save some dough. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BASEBALL today at manscaped.com. That is 20% off, free shipping, manscaped.com when you use the code word baseball today hit the old refresh button, courtesy of Manscaped. What a night it was for DJ Stewart of the New York Mets. Homer in the second inning, a game-tying homer in the eighth. He had a game-saving catch in the ninth off of Marcus Semien, and then a walk-off hit by pitch. That's freaking good job. And what a month of August this dude has had. People forget he was a first-round pick of the Baltimore Orioles, just didn't get enough at-bats. When he did get enough at-bats, he just didn't do enough. Name one other guy who didn't shine with his original team that should get some love right now.
I'm going to go with a former teammate of mine. I played with him in Minnesota.
Okay. Ooh, what year? I want to guess.
14, 15, 16, 17, I believe.
Was he in the bigs?
Yeah. Yeah, he was. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Okay.
Then he took some time off from Major League Baseball.
Really?
And now he's back. You don't have any idea. You have no idea who this is.
Yes, I don't.
I'm going to talk about Michael Tonkin, who's pitching for the Atlanta Braves right now.
Wow, that is an amazing name.
Michael Tonkin came up with the Twins, tall dude, threw hard, just could never really figure out what kind of pitcher he was. You know, like it just never really clicked, and he didn't get a ton of opportunities. I mean, in 2016, that was his most innings. He actually threw 71. That was his biggest year. Then he went over to Japan. He played in the Mexican leagues. Kind of just kept playing and tried to keep getting better. So his last year was 2017. This year, made it to the big leagues with the Braves. And he's already thrown 66 in a third innings out of their bullpen. Sometimes he's thrown in long relief and mopped up some innings. Sometimes he's been in some high leverage stuff. He's kind of been whatever you need, he's there. And I just think it's a really cool story. Like, he persevered. Super nice kid. Jason Kubal's brother-in-law. Gotta love that aspect of it. But I think, you know, just when you think you're out of the game, you know, some people don't give up and they go to other leagues and they just work on their craft until boom, he's back in the big leagues on the best team in baseball. So I think it's a really cool story. So shout out Michael Tonkin.
By the way, let me sidebar here, Your Honor. Is that a little weird when a teammate dates your sister? Who hooked up with whom? I
think Jason, and I think that's his sister, had been dating since like high school. So he's not like, it's been forever.
Okay. All right. Well, then that's fine.
Yeah. I don't even know if they ever played together. Was Kubal's? They must have. I got to look now when Kubal was with the Twins and when he wasn't, but.
Okay. Sorry, I took us down the
Jason Kubal's like the nicest guy ever. So like,
yeah, he always seemed like a good dude.
Yeah.
The reason I am wearing a Tampa Bay Rays hat is because I would like to talk a little bit about Yandy Diaz. Made the All-Star team this year. Started out with my Cleveland Guardians. Back then we were the Indians. Never really got a great shot. Could always hit the ball, but not for pop. He played almost 90 games over 2 years with Cleveland and had one home run. One. Uno. One. That was it. Now he's gotten a full-time shot down in Tampa, whether it was third or now first, DH, whatever he is. And he's got a career-high 17 homers, an OPS over 900, a WAR of over 4, which for a guy when you don't count his glove at all is pretty good. It's all about his stick. I'm happy for him. Plus, I like saying really nice things about the guy who's got the best muscles in the sport. That's simple.
A specimen.
Yeah. He's going pretty high in the, hey, which motherfucker do you want behind you in a fight draft?
Ooh, Adolis Garcia or Yandy Diaz? Don't you wish you could just like do some AI fights where you could just like pick two people and just go, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's start that.
We should do a show in the off season where we have a fight team draft and see who picks the best team.
I love that. I need to put out my hot boy list, and then a fight boy list would be great. Dan Canobio, me and you. Yeah.
Let's go. Oh, yeah. Get Canobio in on it.
Love that. Love that.
That's really good. By the way, let's just give DJ Stewart a little bit of love. In the month of August, hit over 300, 8 homers, 15 ribs. Pretty good. He only had more than 126 at-bats in a single season before this year one time. So it's nice. And by the way, this sort of stuff doesn't happen if the Mets don't empty the cupboard. So he's gotten a shot, and hopefully he's in their plans for 2024. It's a nice little story.
Yeah.
All right, we continue on. Tell me, what was the biggest series win among these three that involved 2 playoff hopefuls? Tampa, little mini 2-game sweep of Miami. Houston, 3-game sweep at Fenway. Or the Cubs taking 2 out of 3 against Milwaukee to edge a little closer there in the National League Central.
I think it's the Cubs beating Milwaukee, taking 2 or 3. I think the Brewers won the first game, and then the Cubs beat Woodruff and Burns, which is, a nice feather in your cap, if you will. They got it down to 3 games in the division. But it's just, there's a lot of important games for the Cubs right now. You have that series, and then they go on a run where they're playing all the people that are chasing them. I have it right here. It's the Reds, the Giants, and the D-backs. So they got to win series within these next 3 weeks. It's just brutal baseball for them. So it was a nice way to start off, get that number down, because at the end of the year, they go back and they face Milwaukee to end the year. So that could have real playoff implications, and being able to steal these games from them right now, not steal, but to win these games, to whittle it down, means something. It could mean at the end of the year, you're actually playing for the division, which will be awesome to see. We saw it last year with the Mets and the Braves, and how cool was that? So we talked about that series, and we didn't know who was going to win. We said these are both 2 teams kind of surging and playing really well. Both you and I said we'll give 2 or 3 to the Cubs. We were both right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a pivotal 3-week stretch here for the Cubs. The last month for them is huge.
And that last series of the year that you talked about, the cool thing could be that it's win and in, out and go home.
Ooh.
Like we don't know what the wild card situation is going to look at that point. That would really be awesome, because essentially that's a playoff series before the playoffs begin, and that's really good for the sport. Not good for everybody's heart monitor, but good for the sport. For me, it's the defending World Series champs. I think this series kind of flew under the radar. I think everybody needed to pay a little closer attention to what Houston did to Boston. It was ugly. It was ugly for the Red Sox. I think it finished their year. And more importantly, I think Houston's now Ryan Presley said it after the game as much. He's like, look out, motherfuckers, we're coming. We are built for a deep playoff run. We are built to win this thing. And it hasn't been easy, right? They started the year without Altuve because of the hit by pitch in the World Baseball Classic. They missed Jordan for a long time. Michael Brantley just came back in this series. Fromber, really good first half. Issues with, should he pitch in the All-Star game? Should he not? Then second half, the high is the no-hitter. The low is he doesn't look anything like Fromber. And then the last 2 starts, he goes no-hitter through 7, and then yesterday retired the first 10 batters. This team is they're ready. They know that they're going to have to stare Seattle right in the eye, and probably Texas if they can get their bullpen shit together. But they're ready. Nothing fears them. Nothing phases them, I should say. They're ready.
I love it. Yeah, you're right. Put Boston 6.5 games back in the wild card.
Yeah. That's tough,
Houston, we've been talking about it all year. It's the reason we play 162. Because if you have some guys injured at some point during the season, there's enough time to make those games up. Mm-hmm. And we've just seen them they're in the water and they're dangerous and they're coming for you. And dang, man.
They're dangerous. It hasn't been pretty the whole year, but
it's just like that experience. Them knowing most of those guys have been with that team now and have made deep playoff runs. Them knowing what's in front of them, I think gives all the teams that have been there such an advantage. You can say the same thing about the Braves. You can say the same thing about the Dodgers. Being there and doing it gives you such confidence. I know this is baseball today, but we're all sports fans. And if you're a sports fan, you got to love college football. And guess what? It is back. Week 1 is upon us, and DraftKings Sportsbook is hooking you up with a can't-miss offer to start the season strong. This week, new customers like you can bet just $5 on the games and score $200 in bonus bets instantly. Look, life's more fun when you're in on the action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code BASEBALL today, where you bet $5 on a game and $200 in bonus bets instantly goes into your account. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code BASEBALL today. The crown is yours. If you have a gambling problem,
call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available. Also, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See DraftKings.com/football for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply.
All right, before we get out of here on the podcast and YouTube side of things, Hall of Famer Ken Griffey Jr., he's got yet another talent. Camera in tow last night at the Miami Messi game. They took on Nashville. Who knew? We knew about his old teammate Randy Johnson being a photographer, but apparently Junior's been doing this. College football, this sport, love it. Give me a talent that you've got that we didn't know about.
I think some people know about this. First of all, I love that him and Randy are just like photographers. Do you think Randy Johnson got Ken Griffey into it or vice versa? Like, had they had
Good
conversations
question.
or is this just a completely coincidental? It's crazy to me.
Really,
that's
good
like
question.
not a normal hobby to pick up, I don't think. Like
Right.
shooting sports games. Anyways, I'm a man of many talents, Chris Rose. But I think my best hidden talent is I love and am very good at cooking over real wood fires. I love the whole thing. I love harvesting the wood. I love splitting the wood. I love starting the fire. I love stoking the fire. I love cooking over the fire. I love slow cooking over the fire. I love searing over the fire. I love it all, man. I'd rather do that any day than use an oven, than use a Traeger, although that's sort of wood fire. I want to like create the fire and cook over it. There's something real primal about that. So I think that would be my hidden talent. I'm pretty good at it.
Okay. Two things for me. I was a hell of a canoeer back in my day. I went to summer camp for 6 years. Why are you, what's the
What does
matter?
that even mean?
We went against
You were
another.
a hell of a canoeer?
Okay, hold on. Let me explain.
Racing? Okay.
Yes. We used to compete against another camp in the summer. And so you had to try out for whatever teams, they're camping sports. It wasn't like, hey, we're going to play you in baseball. It was camping. So they had it, depending on what division of the camp you were in, you could be a junior, which were the young kids, intermediate, or senior. And I made the team. I was the stern, and our bow was a guy named Nate Michelson, a good friend of mine from Chicago. His dad actually owned a very small piece of the Chicago White Sox at the time. And Nate was strong as shit, man. He'd just get on his knees, just go, go, go. And
So it was a race.
There doing the J stroke. Yeah. Oh, it was a race.
Okay.
Hell yeah. Big time. We kicked everybody's ass. So there you go. Canoeing.
Can you still canoe? Are you still like, is it muscle memory? You still got it?
Probably still have a little bit of it. I probably have some of the skills. I could, rudder it properly and then use the J stroke when I needed to. The other thing is I used to do a really good beatbox back in the 80s.
What?
I don't know if yes.
Oh, I mean, let's go.
I don't know if you'll be able to hear it over the microphone, so it might be better in
Of course
person.
you will.
You can't hear it?
What? Are you joking right now? Are you actually making sounds? Or are you like just making that up?
No. I was doing it. You couldn't hear it. That's the problem. No, you can't hear it on these. I don't know. I'm going to have to go to a recording studio. Dan says that was fantastic in my opinion, but I think
bet we can hear it over on amp.
Probably. Maybe that's where we'll have to use it. And that's another reason you should tune in every Monday through Friday on our app. Just download it on your iPhone. Check our social media.
The reviews are fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, well,
Brian
there's more to
Feingold
it.
says that was electric.
Thank you. We are back at it again on Friday. We will talk about game one of the 4-game set between the Braves and the Dodgers. We'll get your baseball weekend started off in the right direction. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, and the uber-talented man who loves to cook over flame, Trevor Plouffe. I am beatboxing Chris Rose. We will see you Friday on Baseball Today.